Hey everybody, welcome back to another Copic Colors of the Month challenge. This is for the 3 colors for April. I'm still on my path to catching up and getting everything done. Right now I'm working on Poison Ivy, one of the Gotham City Sirens, one of the classic Batman villains. So right now, as you can see, I'm just drawing her up, getting the layout done before I start doing some heavy details for her. Now, right now, as you can see, getting laid out, as you'll see even more further down the line. I'm doing a lot of details right now. I'm just going on her face. As you can see right above her eyes, I like to do the Uma Thurman eyebrow dealies that she has from that movie from Batman and Robin. I don't know why I really like that part of the design. And one of the big things I always like to do is have a different personality for each face that I draw, so that they don't, when you line all my characters, all my drawings up in a row, they all don't look the same. There's different characteristics, different things for each character, so you can tell the difference between which one's which. And another part of the thing that I'm doing that you'll see a lot more later on is the amount of detail I'm going to be putting in for her suit and some part of her background. That's going to be pretty nuts when you see it. You can't really tell right now, but it's getting there. Another one of the things I like to do with my characters is give them a flair or different design that you haven't really seen, like maybe mash up different designs from previous iterations. I like to do something on my own, just with a mix, just kind of an homage to different characters or different versions from some of my favorite artists. And here we go with inks, starting with the hair, doing a thicker line weight for anything on that's against the line, against the light source that's coming on. That's usually, I think it's just a front on from the top, so you see a lot of the heavier lines going near the bottom. But I won't tackle that until a little bit later. So we're going to go a little bit of comic talk. If you want to jump into the comments and let me know some cool Poison Ivy stories that you guys have read, please do so. I just currently finished reading Heroes in Crisis. It was the story by Tom King and Clay Mann. They did featuring Poison Ivy as one of the main characters, and they did something really cool, really interesting with her character that I don't think I've seen done for her ever in a while. Let's say maybe dealt with it during the Swamp Thing run, but I don't think it was to this extent. It was really, really cool what they're going to be doing lately. Of course, seeing her drawn in Justice by Alex Ross and Jim Krueger, that was actually a really, really cool series. She kind of took on the Justice League almost to a standstill on her own, just for the sheer amount of power that she actually has, and to have her be part of, kind of almost the mythos of Swamp Thing is actually a really cool aspect of her that you didn't really expect to see. So when I was telling before about some of the detailing, this is where you're going to see it come in. I did a lot of little leaves and shrubbery around her and on her suit. So since I'm speeding this up at 6 times speed, it doesn't look as bad. It doesn't look as crazy, but it's a lot of little details, little squares I just wanted to fill in just to make it look a little more natural. Like she has just these uncontrollable, crazy leaves and plant life just growing all over her, and giving her that kind of aspect that she is a metahuman that controls stuff, not just has it as a decoration. Some of my favorite designs, of course, you have the Jim Lee, who had that same kind of thing where she had leaves and shrubs and vines just trailing her just all over her body. That's the same thing that's what Alex Ross did do. She just had her practically nude and just having the leaves kind of covering her bits and pieces. Same thing with Tim Sale that he did when he was doing the Long Halloween. You didn't even see her red hair. She just was covered in leaves all over the place, and she had the bikini, the one-piece bikini that we all know. That's her classic look. One of my favorite looks is actually one of the more recent ones, was during the New 52. If you remember checking out the New 52, there was a lot of the mandate was a lot of the females had a lot of scantily clad redos on their suits, and of all the people who you think would get a scantily clad suit would be Poison Ivy, but she didn't. Her suit was actually a lot more covered up and easier to look at. She got covered from head to toe, and it was black and green, so that was actually a really cool way to present her, and I really liked it, so I kind of wanted to incorporate that look the same way I do on here, a little more covered up, except for, she has a little piece on her chest that's exposed, but that's just her choice to have something to use her sexuality as a weapon, and that's one of the main points that she can take. So you've drawn a lot of little details on her suit, or leaves, more vines to give it some texture. If you saw that a couple of seconds ago with the zoom in, I was working on her eyes. One of the little tips I like to do is I draw a half circle. I leave the bottom of the circle for her pupil blank, and kind of leave that as kind of like there's almost a tear, or tears coming off for the bottom, so it leaves a little blank. It gives it a little wet look to her eyes, so she's a little bit more. It's a glossy kind of idea, and it makes her, I don't know why, it makes her look a little bit more feminine. So it's a little trick I can tell you how to do. So now we're working on the very first color. This is the BG000. This is what I'm using for a lot of the shine and especially for her shade on her skin color. So now we're working on BG34. This will be the main green for the entire thing. Also use it as a shade for her hair. And yeah, I was running out of some of these colors, so I had to jump from color to color just to kind of let the reserves soak back in so I can keep going. I wanted to try and get this thing done in at least a day. I didn't want to have to go back and try and find a refill just for these pieces. So as you can see that I use the BG000 with the BG34, because you can see on her shoulder, on her bicep, on her right arm. But before I start with that, you can see now I'm using RV21. That is going to be her main color for her hair. That's pretty much all I use RV21 for, is just for her hair and for her lips. I put a little bit of an eyeshadow a little bit later on. But yeah, that's why the colors work so well. It just had a perfect thing for her color palette, so it just worked super well for this whole piece. Alright, so back to, so you can see I'm using the BG000. I'm using that as a terminator. And what terminator is the color barrier between where the light source hits the subject the most and with the color of that subject. So when you have this little bit of light, if it's a bright light, it'll show, as an example for here, it's white as it hits the point that is the brightest, and then as it goes into the shaded part, you see a little bit of the light source's color, which I chose to be a little bit blue. So as the blue goes into the green, blend it in a little bit, and it kind of shows that there's a little bit of depth when it comes to those colors. So right now, I'm on to the blacks. I just like to save those for later, just because I don't want to risk the Copic markers going over the blacks and then get a smeared bleed on there. It just makes it look all gross and muddy. Just adding a little bit more line weight for the stuff that's going to be the least touched with light for the light source that I've chosen. Just going in. Yeah, so I jump from black to green. Like I said, just to give green the chance to get refilled, get back to fighting form. Yeah, a lot of leaves on that bottom one, so that was painstaking, but it was fun because you can really tell it gives this piece a lot of oomph. Makes it look super cool. So I'm really happy with this piece. This turned out really cool. I'm glad I did. So I'm putting a little bit of shadow on her leaves by the light. And now here I'm going back again with the green just to give her some shade onto her hair. And I'm probably going to go back in with the BG000 because I think her face doesn't look as defined as it should. So we go a little bit more shade. And that is our final piece, all there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Hit badpencils.com for more, and we'll talk to you guys soon.